Good afternoon. Today we've got my cousin slash Mr. Professor joining us today. I've set up all the settings. We're trying a new camera, better quality. Let's adjust. And let's see. Beautiful. Ali, what's
What's up,
happening
brother?
in the beautiful Cape Town?
Cape Town's actually been amazing. We're getting 4 seasons in one day. Starts out sunny, ends in rain.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but that's classic Cape Town. It starts off summer in the morning, then it becomes winter in the afternoon, and then it becomes spring. But it's beautiful. It's also
That's why,
it keeps you
yeah.
excited
Yeah, no,
because
that's
then
what
you
I'm
also have reasons to go home 4 times a day to change your outfit. So
But also you get a full fruit salad of a day for you. So it's good. It keeps you busy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Are you
Cape
looking? You're
Town.
looking good, eh? Looking sharp. That's good. Yeah.
I'm exercising, huh? Is it
Yeah, man. You're looking healthy.
beautiful? Even with
Yeah.
this good high quality camera, I
Yeah,
still
I
look
can see the glow. Yeah, it's good.
I'm
The
glowing.
blood is
My hair's
pumping.
come back beautifully. It's amazing how as soon as you start doing well with work, you all of a sudden like everything else just starts coming together in life.
Yeah.
I promise,
It's
I
a
swear.
purpose.
And I was even reading this thing the other day. It's that it's more about, it's more than just mental health. There's mental health, there's physical health, there's financial health, there's emotional health. There's so many different factors within this complicated human being that we are for us to actually become who we're supposed to be.
But all right,
It's
see, I think is the purpose. All of the things you're saying hones you down to one, like a goal, or like you realize because if you're doing an activity and your work is going great, which is your little bit of a short or long term vision, it guides you like that. So it makes you go on a hockey stick
you know
explosion.
what I've noticed in life, and it's actually extremely fascinating theory. When you zone in on one specific factor, aligning that this is your purpose in life, knowing that the things around will all work well when this one factor is working well, it all just comes together. Like let's call it like a pasta. So like you just throw everything into a bowl, but there's the main ingredient, and you want everything to function well with the main ingredient, and then it all just essentially comes together when you focus on it and you constantly keep improving and you keep working on it.
How's
The
Starbucks now? How's your work now? Just give me a catch
work
up.
is phenomenal. The platform has taken off. We've got Microsoft behind the platform. We've launched our exchange. We've launched our bank. We're now building the step 2 of the bank, where we're becoming a little bit more. You see, we're not focusing on becoming a commercial bank, but we want to open to the public, not to the public, because we still remain this very exclusive high-end bank, but we want to make it more accessible to global reach, which is essentially our stage 2. Because now all the stuff that we're doing manually with all our transfer facilitations, our exclusive card networks, our card machines, we've ring-fenced it to a very exclusive limit of people, but the public doesn't have reach to even access the exclusive network. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, but we can use StarTex for that. Use it as a
No,
plug.
it's
I mean,
actually
you
become
never.
2 brands. It's become StarTex the exchange, and it's become StarTex
Yeah,
Black the bank. But what I'm
yeah,
essentially saying is you've got StarTex, which is a global stock exchange for the private sector, which is a world first. I don't know if many people have followed my journey on the things we've been up to at StarTex, which took us 4 years to get to this point of launching the world's first stock exchange for the private sector. And then while we were putting all of this out, my cousin, we started realizing there's a massive gap in the banking as a service space for us to also play in, that we can actually help guys with the entire banking issues that they have on a global scale. So we actually split the brand into two. So we went from StartX to even StartX Black, which is our more exclusive brand. And our step two in that is to now give more people on a public global scale access to apply for the exclusive brand.
Correct.
So that's really become.
I'm waiting for your brand of StartX Epic.
No, StartX Epic is coming
when that one comes.
That's the one you're going to be in, huh?
Because I mean, the black
So it's actually.
So it is all extensionalities of you. You know, your black that you wear. So Epic is the one that's is the juice.
It's the infusion of Arash Razai and StartX. It would become StartX Epic, which would become the two joined together. You know, brother, someone recently, a friend of mine, she bought my book, Be Epic. Yeah. I think she made it to chapter 10, and she was telling me how she's even cried about the life that I've lived and all the things I've been through. And I don't know if it's that I've become a little mundane to what I've been through in life, that for me it's not so dramatic, or I really have had somewhat of a little bit of a epic life to have written the book Be Epic.
No, you've had a very epic life. I mean, it does start with the history of family coming and Iran and all of that, which is a bit of a sensitive topic. And to the public, it is actually an interesting story. People coming out of that, that sphere of Middle East. So when you tell me you're Persian coming from Iran, they say it like that. They see it.
The thing with Iranian people all around the world, our entire history now is very infused with a very difficult time that we went through as a nation, as a people, not just a nation.
Yeah.
It was a very difficult time for our entire culture, our heritage, our entire people as a whole. There really isn't that many Iranian people you speak to on a global scale that weren't affected by it in one way or another. Many people lost family members, many people lost money, many people were cheated, many people
still going on.
So it's actually very embedded within the Iranian culture, and it's something that media never touched on, because they never wanted to really per se play the dramatic card on it. But the Iranian history has had a very, very difficult history. And for our generation, it's our start of our history. And our parents' generation, it's their middle. And before them, maybe towards the end. But for us, we started off as a very, very troubled history of what's, like you said, very sensitive Iranian history that many don't know about.
Yeah. The good thing is the PTSD that you're living with. And that PTSD is making you do things like StartX. Or me trying to do genetics that I'm doing. Is
your genetics lab and trying to evolve. Yeah, I guess you could be very right, and it embeds somewhat in your cognitive existence that as a race we are trying to be epic. It's like we come into looking at the Iranian history and we're like, okay, we had a great empire for many years. The empire fell. The empire rebuilt itself. Then the empire decided to revolute and coup itself. And then guys like us come around and we're like, okay, how do we do something that's globally different, that's huge, that's massive? And you know what? But I'm saying, brother, I swear, and I was thinking about this the other day in the shower. And I actually I couldn't even think about how to word this. And I've been very, very, very fascinated with this theory. And look, I don't want to hurt some of the viewers' opinion on this. I'm not calling anyone anything specific in what my opinion in certain aspects of how things have essentially how I feel about this. I was somewhat trying to understand that on a global spectrum, it's given that we have stupid people. There's no debate. And it's given that we have very intelligent people. No debate. Right? But there is something in between. There is something in between. And I swear, and I was trying to understand, people like you and I'll even openly admit it, is we fall somewhere in between that being intelligent people and stupid people. Now hear me out. Because what we're trying to do is a very stupid notion, where instead of going and doing what everybody else has done in society, and they make lots of money and they have amazing lives and they drive big cars and fancy clothes, we could very easily do that. But somehow we're intelligent enough to see this creation that we're trying to create, but we're also very stupid to put ourselves through all of this pain that we got to go through in life to achieve this. And and for me it was just this, it's just this, there's intelligent people, there's stupid people, then there's somewhere in between the people that are the creators,
So, but
the guys that look into the empty gap, and they're like, there's something there. Because listen, let's be honest. The theory is that stupid people always work within the construct of the structure that has been set on them as a society, and this is what they've been told. And many people call it the matrix. Phenomenal. They fall within that, and they always struggle in life, and they try their absolute best.
Yeah.
But they can't get away from the social system that was created for them. As I said, many call it the matrix. Then you've got intelligent people that always see past the structure, and they know how to bend the structure to their will so that they rise within society above the rest, right? And you and I know many of these people. They use their intelligence to get to places, to achieve amazing things, where they've now used the structure to their benefit, where the people below them always fall within the structure and they play the game that was put on them. But then where does that put people like us? We don't fall within the structure. We don't try to bend the structure. We somewhat come into the space where we become the guys that are trying to create a new structure, where we're trying to create a whole new system, where we're trying to, where we are the guys that are, like I said, we're somewhere in between intelligent and stupid, because, like I said, we're intelligent enough to see what it is we're trying to create, but we're pretty stupid for putting ourselves through this.
The fact that we have eyes and we can see, I was waiting for you to say that word. The fact is that those stupid people, sorry to the viewers and the listeners, but we're not bashing anyone.
We're not trying to hurt anyone's feeling. We're just trying to.
I don't think stupid is the right word. I think we should call it simpleton.
Simpleton. Let's go with that theory. The simpletons always fall within the matrix of going to exactly what the structure is, and their life is always mundane.
But who created the structure?
The intelligent people. That's the thing. So the intelligent people created the structure for the simple people, and then the intelligent people play with the structure to their benefit so that they go above what the simpletons have to follow the rules.
Brother, the people in the middle, right? That's the path of your intelligence. You're becoming more intelligent, right? You're becoming more intelligent. You already, your eyes are opening up and the veil is coming off. Wow, this system is for simple people. But I'm now all right, Rizai, I'm becoming epic. I'm expanding my consciousness and rising above the occasion. Yeah. And one day you'll be part of those matrix curators, and you're creating systems. You're creating these wonderful systems in place, and that is creating a paradigm for people to operate in. So the simpletons will actually join these systems, and they'll operate in that field, and you're going to get a buck out of there. And
but then if you're going to look at it within that, so then your theory is actually saying that they're simpletons, intelligent people, and then what I was referring to as the middle, they're actually above. They're actually the ones that come and create new structures that everyone falls within.
Middle, I'm saying for you to become intelligent level, you're moving through a kind of a slope, right?
Yeah.
You're in the middle right now because you're still grinding. You're not chilling. You're not calling me from a yacht right now. I'm also not in a yacht, watching the sunset.
You've got a very blurred out background. We don't know where you are.
I'm at the lab. Actually,
okay, beautiful. So, yeah, we don't want the CIA to know, but yeah. Okay.
I mean, no, it is a lab. It's like.
And as soon as I've now mentioned the word CIA, they're going to get flagged, and then we will get some exposure and marketing from the CIA at least.
I mean, I'm at UCT, so they must come find me somewhere at UCT. That's their clue. So, long story short, you're moving through this paradigm, right?
Yeah.
So you're in the middle, and then you can actually find out, lower middle, middle, or high middle, because right now you're creating such a system. You're adding to the matrix, and that's what you're doing. You're adding to the matrix. So once your startup is actually flourishing and is automated, and you're sitting on a yacht and you're passing me a cigar, that is when you reach your intelligence space that you're calling intelligence, which I mean we can call it different terms, but from simpletons to the architects. I think that's a better word to use, because the architects create the matrix for the simpletons to operate in, and that's your journey of how you could be epic.
and that becomes, I think you worded it right. It's not about simple or stupid or intelligent. It's the factor that we're living in a society which is 3 essential groups, let's call it that, where you've got the simple guys living within the matrix, and they live within the construct of the structure that was put in place by the architects who know how to use that structure. Hence, they always seem to be the ones that are living a good life where they're earning and they know how to bend the structure and they know how to play the systems. But then you get these guys in between that come into the picture, and it's far beyond the discussion of you and I and our creation. It even evolves into the Einsteins. It even goes to the Steve Jobs. It even goes to the Teslas and the Newtons.
Einstein. That's a good one. Einstein theory, the theorem of elasticity. That's a fucking matrix. He actually devised a matrix it's always in theory that we're living in. So these are all the Einsteins that have got to that state, but he wasn't sitting on a yacht. I mean, it depends on how he's successful in personal life, but they are the architects. Yeah. So
it's very interesting. Like I said the other day in the shower, I was literally just thinking, where is it? Because I've met very intelligent people in my life, and I've seen how they've played with the system, and they've made a lot of money, and they have phenomenal lives. They knew exactly how to play with the system. Then I've met some really people in life that struggle because they don't believe that the system is anything but for them to follow it. And it's something even like this Andrew Tate goes on about, break away from the matrix, even the movie The Matrix, that we're constantly living in a matrix. Look, I'm not a big fan of throwing this theory around of saying, hey, we all live in a matrix and you should break away. But there is a certain social structure that is created for the lower end of our society, and these guys don't view the structure as anything but rules that they must follow. And if you look at the guys on the higher end, they only see structures as things that they can manipulate to their favor. You know, some do it in a very illegal manner, but for the period that they're very ahead until they lose everything. But they know how to play with that structure. They know. So now,
so let me ask a question.
yeah.
What is your, how do you see the structure? Like, do you see it as physical? How do you see it?
You see, I believe the social structure is not a physical, it's not a legal, it's not imposed within when you drive down the road and you see the social structure. I believe the social structure is actually a cognitive bias that is created in people. It is when you start realizing that I'm in this fence, I have to stay within this fence. Now, the first implementation of accepting your ring fence, let's call it a ring fence.
Yeah.
Let's say the higher powers in society have put a ring fence around your environment that you are born into. Now,
Cool.
it comes down to essentially your cognitive bias and your neurological understanding. There is this ring fence. Now, there's two paths in life. Do I have to stay within this ring fence, which is purely about me trading my time and my efforts to make certain income to cover expenses on a complete repetitive in perpetuity level, which then creates the lower class? Because all you're essentially doing is you're staying within what you were told to stay within, and within that, you make just enough to get by. And then comes the exact same person that was put into the same environment you were. And you and I have seen this. Exact same guys that come from the same place as the guy who's still at the low end, but this guy now used that ring fence to say, wait a minute, why should I play within the ring fence? Rather, let me go and figure out how to use this structure to manipulate it in my favor, which benefits me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
I know.
and
exactly
these
what
guys, they
do.
do.
But you see the taking the same person from the same environment, it's a bit impossible. The your family upbringing, or my family upbringing, our brothers, how our brothers are having a influence on us, right? How our parents are influencing us. So there's never 100%. And also the notion of, I mean, in the first 7 years of your life, you're who you are right now. In the first 7 years, your mom and dad trained you like that, and your brothers had influence on that. That was the crux 7 years of your life. So if you keep that 7 years
Programming.
development, yeah, if you keep that consistent, we take a identical twins, keep everything consistent, they're still going to be coming out differently, because that's the
100%.
other meaning of that. Yeah. So what I've realized recently, actually quite recently, is that how we are so ethereal. We're not, just, we're such an illusion that this person you see in front of you is, I could just be a spirit, and that spirit is the identity of that individual. Do you get me? And that spirit is actually coming out to express itself. And if that spirit is a risky spirit, if it's a entrepreneurial spirit, if it likes to come out of a system or starts questioning kind of a spirit, I think that kind of keeps you up. And now the society that we're breeding, let's take the African continent, is breeding in laborers. It's not breeding in managers, or is breeding in laborers. So the system has created this continent to become a continent of laborers. You don't see, you don't see like a Silicon Valley in Africa, in Lagos, for example. I mean, it's kind of popping up slowly now. It's also in Cape Town, little Silicon Cape.
They're trying. You see, they're trying, but that's also very manipulated, because access to capital is a lot easier in the Western world than it is in Africa.
True.
Why?
I mean, also there's cheaper labor here.
But when Africa has all the innovation, how come the African guys can't get capital as easily as the American guys?
I mean, capital's leaving this country every second.
Yeah,
So
capital is leaving this country. But then you see now you also tapped into the metaphysical, and I spoke of this a few weeks ago, the parametaphysical universe where we are all in existence within our own realm of reality, and we are constantly bumping into each other's existence of realm of reality. But
well, it could
that
be
goes,
yours actually. It could be your reality.
it could be my reality. So you're constantly coming into my realm of reality, and I'm coming into yours, and so
No, no,
on,
no,
and
no.
100 other
You
people.
actually I could just be your reality right now.
You could.
And what
This
is
it's very possible.
it's
But
like
then
so many
again,
variations.
that theory goes very against what the Vatican had trained people to believe for millennials, because the theory that they had taught the world for, let's call it 3,000 odd years, is that we are all one metaphysical realm, and we are all living within one metaphysical realm, and
Yeah.
we're constantly all trying to understand each other in one space. But then you've now said something completely opposite. It's that we're not all in one realm, we're all within our own realm, and we're constantly bumping into each other's realm. So now
We're
you've
constantly
actually
bumping
thrown
into
something
ourselves.
that
We're constantly bumping into ourselves, right? So, because
we
if
could
you zoom
be.
into your cells
Yeah.
and into your DNA, and you just go on and on and on into your quarks, right? And if you look at and if you get an image of that, looks like a little web of an image, right? Looks like a
Yeah.
cognitive web. And if you zoom out of the, then you go up towards the stars and go to the galaxies, and you you go up as high as we can. The Hubble telescope view of the universe, for example, gives a very similar image. So if you go inwards and you go outwards, you're going to get into the same convoluted kind of a thing. So we could this is the middle. This is the middle, and the rest is of the same whole. Do you get me?
Yes, so you know how many people's theory of reality you have just burst? How many people are actually not going to be impressed?
They're probably shaking in the graves right now, but it's fine. It's fine. It's good.
It's you.
Part of the
You
system.
have literally burst almost every single person up until I think around 2000 was the year where people decided, let's become a little bit awake to the spiritual realm and trying to understand the energy flow of the universe. But up until then, the theory was we
Vatican.
are all in one universe, one realm of reality, and we all need to share this realm of reality. So
And who said
now
that?
you have come and said that no, we're not all in one realm of reality sharing it. We're all our own realm of reality. And we are perceiving every single existence that comes into this realm of reality based on how we choose to perceive that engagement. Ali,
And
my cousin, Mr. Professor, there's a lot of people turning in their grave on that one, huh?
of course, that's good. I mean, it also matches with the Ubuntu and the ancient tribal communication platforms of the Khoi and the San. These are ancient people, right? They've somehow evolved. I mean, actually, when I was in Pretoria, the Khoi leader has settled the little. I don't know when last we at the Union buildings.
No,
But he's settled.
I
Yeah,
was
he's
recently
actually.
invited, but I just don't have time these days.
No,
Yeah.
he has settled a little shelter at the Union buildings on the grass, and he's like, "This is our land. We are the Khoi, right?" And the ancient people. I mean, they're great for genetic studies because it would be good to know the roots of their genetics. Another project for Startex, but
You know the
but
root
they
of
speak like that.
genetics, and this is a very also big debate. There's two civilizations that have been proven to be the oldest, and one is the Ethiopian people, and they found that skeleton. What is her name? It's
Naledi, which one? The
what's
one
her
in
name?
Ethiopia, the
The
one in Thar-
Ethiopian, the
the
Ethiopian,
one.
where they say that is actually the birth of humanity. But then they also came and changed it when they said within the Persian civilization, they also found something that goes back to about 15 something odd thousand years. So
Those are the
it's,
skeletal remains, right? But the
yeah,
oldest hominoid found was actually very, very close to you guys. That's cradle of civilization,
yeah,
and the name of that skeleton is called Naledi.
Naledi.
Naledi, and
Naledi. Let
it's
me
actually
find
like
the. Wait, hold on.
yeah,
Yeah,
by
tell
like
me.
cradle of humankind, north, close to Pilansburg, by Pretoria, somewhere there. Check it out.
Her name is Lucy. So the Ethiopians say
Oh,
that
Lucy.
Lucy was the birth of civilization. Came from Lucy. That's what they actually call it.
Okay,
If you Google
so
that, check it out.
and check out Herman Naledi.
Yeah.
She dates back 335,000 years ago.
Yeah, but it also makes
But-
sense because you actually said something very intelligent, as you would, because you are quite an intelligent human. Is that there's a difference between finding a skeletal remains and the first actual human remains.
So the reality is that we've been existing since forever, right?
Okay.
And I actually had a
Elaborate
debate
on that
with my.
so we can have some more people turning.
I actually had a bit of a debate with my elder brother Amir, who's also a bit of an intellect. And I'm like, listen, we are developing all of our current data, which is paperless, right? No more people. I mean, I'm still old school. I still use the diary.
Yeah.
But people using their laptops, everything is electronic in the cloud, right? So there's no
Correct.
physical evidence of any data. And, we could be wiped out and there's no physical remains of humanity. It was all, in some hard drive disk in Silicon Valley or in some IBM data center. So we actually slowly eradicating our history, right?
Our existence.
And our existence. So if we are getting to that state of there's no more intellectual knowledge stored in a paper format or in a physical format, unless 100,000 years from now somebody discovers your skeleton chilling, in Santon.
Doing the show. Yeah.
We found an epic skeleton, right?
We found an epic skeleton doing an epic shot. But did you see that? So there's this professor, there's this Netflix documentary, Graham something, and he was even on the Joe Rogan show. And he's actually very hated now in the archaeological sector and amongst all these guys, because he's pretty much proven their theory that this is when civilization started is actually rubbish. It's bullshit. We're not kids. I'm sure we're allowed to swear on the show. It's bullshit. Is that he's now proven that our timeline actually goes before what we have been told started. But at this certain point, there was some sort of a massive natural disaster that happened that wiped out humanity and all of our history, bringing us to that point that we have no data of existing as a species before that point. And it's very interesting that to say that we never existed before this certain line, but we have architectural structures that were before that time. So who built these architectural structures if we have no data as society as a whole?
They store the data in the cloud. Or maybe they store the data in a stone. You never know.
Maybe so. His theory is that we as humans got very ignorant to our existence, and we were wiped out once, and we came back, and that is where archaeologists. I'm still Iranian, trying to learn English. This is where archaeologists believe that our society started from this point. But then, where did all of this other architectural structures come from that we have no data on.
So we
Absolutely
are getting
no data on how these things exist on Earth.
and that's what we're doing right now. We're creating a system, and we're reaching. Is a cyclical, as the matrix is the matrix was cyclical. Remember, it's a cycle.
True.
So we are reaching to that point of non-existence. There has to be some kind of a climatic war. I mean, you can see how hot the Middle East is at the moment, and the world is actually kind of waking up. So it's getting
hot.
Yeah, but it's got cool in Cape Town. It's got nice.
Look, Cape Town is very oblivious to what's happening with the rest of the world, politically, socially, economically, financially. Cape Town is like its own world. That I agree with. There's a metaphysical realm around Cape Town. That I agree with. That Cape Town is its own universe in the universe. That I agree with.
Exactly. So it's a bit of a good safe space. But what I'm trying to get to is that because we are cyclical, we are aiming to that state, and then we will burn and kill ourselves, right? There'll be no evidence because everything's on hard drives and disks like that, and it'll be lost. Some archaeologists, will find our skeletons 100,000 years from now. It's like, humans existed in Santon, and then Santon becomes the cradle of civilization. But at that time they'll call it something else. They'll call it, plankton.
And then the theory will go. Then somebody will then correct him wrong to say that these guys that you found in the year 2024 were not the birth of humanity. There was 4,000 years before them, exactly like this current guy, Graham something, I can't remember his surname, is pretty much proven. So he's actually very in line with pretty much what you're saying, is that what we were told was the birth of humanity is not the birth of humanity, because we don't have data pre that point of calling that point the birth of humanity, but we have enough evidence to prove that that was not the birth of humanity. But we have no information before it to have any kind of debate about it. So even he's like, yes, we existed before that point, but we have no idea what we were before that point. But we existed. There's clear evidence that we existed before the birth of humanity, but we don't know what we were. We have no idea. Maybe we were even a higher sentient being than we are now. Because if you look at the pyramid and you look at some of these architectural marvels, you can't tell me aliens built this. These were things that this common society would struggle to build, pyramids and sphinx and amazing architectural designs and wonders that do exist. So maybe we were actually, before the birth of humanity, even far more advanced than we are right now in 2024. And we did exactly as you're saying, put ourselves in a position to wipe ourselves out of existence without much data.
Graham Hancock,
that's his name.
Yeah, I just Googled him now. I'm like, I'm just, as you're speaking, I'm also quickly just skim reading his biography. I'm like, boom, he's kind of reiterating what I'm saying, but I've never actually heard of the guy,
That's his theory. He's saying that we were far more advanced before the so-called claim of the birth of humanity, and we wiped ourselves out than we are now. So this is not the most advanced. In his theory, this is not the most advanced that we have been as humanity.
I agree with him. I mean, this is not that advanced.
We were far more advanced than this. In his theory, he says.
I'm using tools to communicate with you. I mean, I should just I should be consciously in a frequency right there in the lounge. You get me?
Maybe we were. Maybe as humanity, we were a lot more advanced than this, and maybe we had broken out of the construct of the three structures of society, as we discussed earlier, of the lower, the middle, and the higher. Maybe we had finally worked out how to break the matrix, because the thing also is that the matrix is a system and a structure put within society to control society, which society doesn't want to be controlled, but trust me, it is safer for us as a species to be controlled. So there is the pros and the cons of the so-called matrix system, because without the matrix system, we would probably be at war 24/7 and chaos.
Killing
But
each
we
other.
also don't want to be in the system that classes us in three different groups of the simpleton, the intelligent, and the guys in between that are constantly trying to evolve and create new structures. Maybe.
Have you watched the Lego movie?
No, which one? There's quite a few Lego movies.
No, the first one, the actual first one.
I'll check it out. Tell me.
One of my
about
favorite
it.
one of my favorite movies is basically encompasses all of this. I mean, it is a family movie, but it talks about this current realm and how the Lego man comes to the other realm, which is the human realm. It's actually quite interesting, and it talks about society control. It's quite a politicized animation, and about superheroes and breaking the matrix. And the little wizard in the Lego movie. He's actually the intelligent guy. He's the intellect, and he goes and talks about the theory of. It's quite interesting. You should watch it, and it's kind of cute, but yeah.
Yeah, they mask it up because the thing is, if they come out bluntly and make some sort of movie or documentary about this, they probably would never have been capable of getting it released. So they had to somewhat mask it within this cute animated Lego movie per se, so that the higher powers would allow this movie to be released that would get people on the lower level to not question it so much. There's nothing more.
Yeah.
There's nothing more that the people that create the structures hate more than people like us that are trying to create new structures that go against their structures. That's essentially what we're doing with our work and with your work. We are pretty much saying, here's the structures. The low end of our society plays within the structures. The high end of our society learns how to manipulate the structure in their favor. And then comes us, who we don't even play within the structure or try and manipulate the structure. We're just like, okay, I acknowledge your structure, but I'm going to make a whole new structure that must fit within your structure, and you must agree with my new structure in your structure. There's nothing more.
You need to watch the Lego movie.
There's nothing more that the high-end people hate than us.
They call us the master builder. Because in the Lego movie, all the minions are building Legos according to instructions.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you follow instructions? If I give an instruction, would you listen to me?
No, I would say I like your instruction, but this is how I believe it should be.
Exactly. That's the first sign of someone who is not in this, who doesn't abide by the system, doesn't follow instructions well. If your colleagues and your staff follow instructions, their mind is for the system. Perfect employee,
Correct. Matrix, perfect model for the Matrix.
Perfect model. The Lego movie actually goes into that. The first step is to follow instructions. If you don't follow instructions properly, you're a bit of an outcast. And then that's how it starts. So it's so what we're actually saying, it can be summed up in the Lego movie, and I hope you watch it. It's really cute.
Beautiful. And to all our viewers, as my intelligent cousin, because he's quite an intelligent guy. So if this is something that got him, he's actually a scientist sitting in his lab doing this episode with me. So if this is something that rattled him a bit, then maybe we should all check this out.
But it's important, if you're watching Lego movie and you're seeing cartoon, then you're not supposed to see the truth. If you're watching the animation and you're seeing the truth that I mean I picked up, which hopefully you also pick up as well, that's the other side of the story, which was beautifully done in animation.
But you see, I've always believed this, even with every movie I've ever watched, because you've got to remember that behind every production, there was somebody that put this together within their perspective of a message they're trying to portray. almost every movie, if you watch a lot of movies, there is these different messages than what you're watching taking
Yeah.
place within a movie. There's a lot of movies within, more than just this movie that you're mentioning. There are a lot of movies where the actual person has masked the true meaning of what they are trying to portray to the viewers past more than just what you're seeing of what
It's not
became
that
this
obvious.
box office.
They're
There's a
making it-
hidden message,
yeah.
and there's also, and I'm sure you know this, there's this theory within the human cognitive is that the human cognitive doesn't see reality. Do you know this? Do you know that this has been proven? We don't see reality. We see what we want to see within our perspective. Do you know this? Do you know that this has been proven? That if
Yeah, and we only see a frequency anyways. We see a range. So yeah.
we see a range with the frequency of what our mind wants to interpret of what we're seeing, not what actually is reality that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Do you know that, and it might be very scary for our viewers to, they should go and read up a lot about this. It has
But
been
if you
proven
do-
that we
if
see
you
what,
do see
in short,
reality,
we see what we want to see. That is the way of actually wording it.
if you want to see reality, then your frequency has to expand beyond the normal white's visionary frequency that we have right now. Then you're gonna start seeing UV rays. You're gonna start fucking seeing shit that you don't want to see. Like, I mean, the insects they can pick up UV, so that's how they see the world. If you start seeing the world in that perspective as well, you might just go crazy.
Yeah,
And
but
then you'll be honest,
that's also the theory of being intelligent. The theory of intelligence is that you're never happy. You know that, right? You know that they say, that the saying ignorance is bliss.
Like, content.
You're
Yeah,
never
I'm happy,
content
but- Yeah.
because you're always trying to see the world for what it is, not what you want it to be.
It's the
And
pursuit.
it's actually very scary stuff.
It's the pursuit of what we do. You pursue it, and the pursuit is your journey, and that will hopefully make you rise and become epic.
Look, for me, the basic understanding of all of this is not to change the realm of reality for people around me and come and say, guys, here's my conspiracy theory. This is not what the world is. You're all stuck in a matrix. For me, what I want to be known for is the guy that came and created something that, whether it falls within the structure or whether it falls outside the structure, it was adopted within everyday society to make things easier for certain people to get to where they want to get to. Which is, and that is what's essentially my hidden message behind my book of Be Epic. It's that you can be a me that went through the things that I went through, and you can outdo me. My book is not, you see, some guys actually take my book as a sense of arrogance, that this guy came and wrote his book of how he went through everything and now he's like made something of his life. But that is not the message when I was writing it. The message what I was writing is it's past a me. It is, let's call it a spirit of going through this certain journey of trouble and managing to become something that managed to overcome the endeavors that spirit A, me, went through. So it is more than this arrogant guy wrote a book about his life. A lot of guys don't see that within my book. They miss the hidden message of me saying, guys, I was a complete mess and a disaster, and I managed to turn it around. So I implore you to make me look stupid of how you turned it around. Become the next Steve Jobs. There is nothing in the construct of society that can stop you, no matter how bad you believe your situation is, to become the next Elon Musk, to become the next Julius Caesar. That is my hidden message in my book.
And if they don't pick it up, that's true. If they don't pick it up, it's their prerogative. It's just like the movies. If they don't pick up the messages, it wasn't for them to understand. So I don't want you to get yourself all heightened up. And I was thinking what we could actually. I was thinking of something now as we were speaking. We should have like a epic club. People would actually have turned their lives around through reading a book, which is amazing.
I implore it, my brother.
Yeah.
I implore people to go through troubled times. It's people, certain people frown upon people that go through hardship. And they say, oh, that person's a complete write-off or a mess, or I don't want to be associated to that person. But trust me, that person that went through hardship has got more understanding of reality than you do with your soft life. He is
100%.
more a human
Yeah.
than you with your soft life that always spoke about, oh my God, da 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 da, I wish, but you never did anything. Because you see, the understanding for me is that you will never have a hard life if you don't try to be different. If you're always trying to be normal, then life will always be easy and simple for you. So then you will have a very soft life because you never tried to be anything.
Simpleton.
And it's not like the guys that try to be anything that always go through this hardship. Look at it. Look at every person that's ever achieved anything, what their story is. Their story is the first thing they said is, I will not be normal. Because normal is not something that changes and evolves humanity. And from the day that person says that, for majority, and it's even scary, is that 75% of their life is filled with hardship to get to that 25% of being able to be called the person that did change and evolved humanity.
That's why we have survival of the fittest. The simpletons, they're supposed to be a majority, because once you get to that 25%, you need those simpletons to execute your task, because then your task becomes mundane, and you need that. And
True.
that's how the society is actually offering you these tools. I'm talking like an architect now, but you use them as tools, and they become part of your grand plan in a way.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that you are a scientist and you do see the realms of reality in that manner, that there are certain tools that need to be used in a certain way. But again, we go back to exactly what we said about the Matrix, is that as much as we want people to not be in the Matrix and have freedom and not be controlled and achieve their full potential, we as a society would be complete chaos if there wasn't a Matrix in place.
But
We
Anesh,
would be huge mess.
No, but one thing I just realized now is that the concept of it might get a bit political, but the concept of colonialism comes into play really well here, because that's the system they created, right? So then that is how they manipulate and get those minions and get the laborers to execute their tasks. And whoever wants to rise against that, boom, shoot it down. Take him out.
100%, because you're a threat. You're a threat to our structure that we created.
Exactly.
Guys like you and I that would have come along and tried to create a StarTex or genetics lab. If it was 3,000 years ago, we would have been executed. We would have been called witches for guys that are trying to create something that doesn't exist in reality. We are lucky as entrepreneurs, not just us, all founders and entrepreneurs and visionaries. We're lucky that we're not in a society where people can be called witches and wizards and hung. Thousands of years ago, if you tried to be a Steve Jobs or so, you would have been hung. You would straight away. They would have said, "This guy is challenging our structure. Off with his head."
No, but at that time, you be inventing the wheel. You be Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, but it's not like the guys that invented the wheel had an easy life.
The first guy that saw a fire. That was the first. I mean, from my understanding, the first invention was fire.
It was. You're right.
And now look how we disregard, lighting a match. But wow, that mean, as a scientist, whenever you see inventions, I mean, there's so much gone into this, to everything. Like if I take this pen, so the camera is, but yeah, the ink,
Yeah.
so much depth to quarks of
Beyond the
knowledge gone
theory of
into.
the invention that is taken for granted now. It's very true. And you see,
Yes.
if you look at, so again, now I'm going to go back to our heritage. Our heritage is that we were a very powerful civilization once upon a time that believed
We still
in
are.
fire as our god. You know this. A lot of people don't know much about Iranian history. Iranian history is not an Islamic history. Islam and Muslim and the theory, these were things that were brought onto our nation. Us as a Persian civilization, we are believers of the fire god, that fire is the beginning and end of everything. And that is when the Persian civilization was actually at its peak. And a lot of people also don't know this because media does mask us to be the bad guys. Persian civilization were the first people, our emperor, Cyrus Cylinder.
I think I've lost you, but I'll stay on.
Am
That's good.
I unfrozen?
Yeah, I'm frozen. I'm much better.
I froze up there for a second. So, but you see, the thing is, and maybe it's as soon as I started speaking about the Persians and the Persian
And the
civilization,
fire.
that it decided that it's going to freeze me up there for a second. But you see, the theory
Cool you
is
down.
that I'm here. Let me put my hand. But we were the first Persian civilization that were at their peak of power as the guys that pretty much had one of the largest civilizations in history were also the same people that created the first human rights bill. People don't know this. The Cyrus Cylinder, you're more than welcome to Google it or check up on it. He was the first emperor to say that although we believe in a civilization and an empire where we should all be under one flag and one structure, we should all have human rights. Which also, again, is very fascinating against our discussion that we've had, because that now is the first guy that said, okay, here's the matrix, we all work within the matrix, but I want everybody to be free. And I want everybody to have a good life. And I want everybody to understand that this empire is about justice and freedom. And it is an empire of equality amongst us all. But it's still an empire, which also is very hypocritical by him to become an emperor but tell people that we're all equal. So it's. I
No, but
think
he did create a the area for the people to operate on, which is great. And I think Cyrus's lineage was a bit of an anti-Illuminati because he was giving people knowledge and power. You have rights, you're allowed to explore, you're allowed to return to your homeland. So all of this was provided to them. He was like expanding the consciousness of humanity. And but I'm really fascinated about the fire story because I wanted to let you know that inventions at the end of the day, inventions get you closer to your non-existence, which is fire. You're kind of burning. I think that there's the famous poems around, like the butterfly, bubbling around or fluttering around the candle, and as soon as it gets closer to the candle, it sheds off some of its butterfly hairs, of his wing. So the wing gets shorter and shorter. It gets closer to the candle, it comes back again, gets closer to the candle, comes back again. And after a while, the wing is burnt off and then klar.
Yeah, but you see exactly. So you see, what do we call Zoroastrians? They're still a massive
Zoroastrians.
Zoroastrians, but that's exactly what you just said. They're very firm believers that the beginning and end of everything is through fire.
Yeah.
Everything. It is the core essence of existence.
That was our ancient religion. So
it was it was the original Persian religion. And another very interesting thing about our Emperor Cyrus is that he had built the world's largest libraries at the time because he wanted people to be educated and have knowledge and understanding and expand their perspective, as you said. And what is the first thing that the followers after him came? They came and they started closing the libraries because they started learning that we don't want these people to be intelligent to break out of the matrix.
And that was the start.
And that was the start of understanding. You see, Cyrus's mission was very noble, that he wanted all humans to be equal and intelligent and have very wider perspective of understanding reality. But I think in theory, as humans, it just causes too much chaos when people try to not all exist within the same structure. But my brother, let's not keep our viewers on for another 10
hours. There's another long debate on the Matrix.
There's massive debates. There's a lot of comments, I'm pretty sure, that are going to get thrown at us about the things that we decided we're going to rattle. There's me trying to use my new camera today that froze even, so technology is not always the solution.
I did take a screenshot, I'll send it to you, because you look kind of cool with your hand
up. I look beautiful. I always look beautiful. My hair's coming back beautifully. It's amazing. Like I said, when you become successful, all of a sudden your hair has respect to come back as well. Even your hair has respect for you when you're doing better in life. My brother,
okay, bro. Thanks, man.
Thank you for your time. I'll see you in a week or two. You mentioned you're up in my neck of the woods.
That's it, yeah. I'll come say hello.
Thanks, my brother, for your time. Thanks to all the viewers. And it was amazing seeing everyone.
Thanks,
guys. Cheers. Ciao.